All right. All you freedom-loving boys and girls, men and women, whomever you are, wherever you are in this big blue marble of a planet, Centerline Systems. Hey, into the drum roll.
Absolutely.
Hey, as you can see, this is a Loadout Live episode, our first of the going to the 1800 Central Time. Please, Doge, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, if you're listening, get rid of daylight savings time. Let's just stay on real time for the rest of our real lives. All right. So that's my side. But you can see our guest is in studio with us. He just very bravely risked his life and limb driving through the snowstorm to get here from Minneapolis.
Oh yeah.
Paul, aka Cousin Husband. All right. Hey, I've got, housekeeping, or as the one guy likes to call it, fluff. So we've got some fluff keeping to do. We got a little fluff keeping to do, but then I'll bring Paul over. You probably have seen him. He's been on before. And we're going to talk about a new version of the G3. It's not really a new version. Well, we made the very first one for Paul, so it's kind of like for ham radio enthusiasts, but I think it's got all kinds of different applications and kind of contingent on what you guys say here in the chat or what you say on the demand and leave comments. I think we're going to make it an option. Just, the G3 is still the G3, but we'll make this as an option if you want to go down this road. So stay tuned. We'll have that for you. Again, the setup is a little bit different here. I feel like I should just be, putting my head on his shoulder to get in the middle. Hey, we got, as always, we had Gene across the pond with a big woo. Gotta love it. We got Andrew saying he's going to be over on Rumble. All right. Hey, I hope that's the case. I'd like to see more people going over there. Somebody had a good comment in one of my other videos. Look, ScrewTube, I wish it was still the old version of ScrewTube, but I mean, the reality is everybody's still on ScrewTube and there's just a ton of content on ScrewTube. I, unfortunately, might have to pay the $20 a month membership because that, I'd rather watch like a good documentary on the Roman legions or something like that, but I'm sick of the commercials, and Rumble does commercials now too. So, I mean, you're just freaking pretty much screwed wherever you go. Yeah. But anyway, we got Andrew over there on Rumble. We got John, the accessorizer, aka Gimli. All right, sir. He says he's reporting for duty. That's right. I want to see a salute behind that too. And then we got Learn Me. So I'm giving you a shout out, St. Paul. Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. All right. So that's what we got going watching right now. So just a little bit again, the housekeeping. I'd mentioned this padded strap wrap. Now this is ATAX FGX. I'd mentioned this in a video, I don't know, maybe a month ago, 4 or 5 videos ago. Somebody had reached out to me, and in the course of the conversation, they found out I had this, and they're like, oh, I want that. I'm like, well, okay, just shoot me an email because, I'm getting old and it ain't all up there anymore. Shoot me an email. I've never heard back from that person. It's been almost 2 months now. So if you're watching, sir, this is yours, but after here, if I'm going to give it to Christmas. So I've already got somebody else who is like, hey, if that gentleman never picks it up, I'll take it. So you know who you are, you're watching. So if you are the gentleman who wanted this, I'm going to give you from now until Christmas, and I can be Santa Claus for you. But then if you don't reach out to me, because I don't remember who it is, I don't have your shipping information. But if you don't do it, then I'm going to go from Santa to Krampus, and I'm going to give it to the other person who wants it. So that is kind of it for my housekeeping,
all
AKA
right.
fluff.
Beautiful.
All right. Hey, so what to see? Any other comments? No, we left it. Well, hang on. Do we? No, right where we were. Okay. So we're talking about the G3 gear roll and a modification that I made to a G3 for Paul here, right? So I'm going to show you mine. So it's the standard G3, right? So it still has Molly on the back, so you can attach it to. You don't have to show yours up.
Okay.
You just want to
contrast and compare,
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to yours.
Sure.
And besides, I want to show off this nice Nemesis camouflage.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Right. So anyway, so I made one for me in Nemesis. It's got Molly on the back, the drag handle up on the top, so you can hang it on the door to your bathroom if you're like traveling. Like, honestly, I'm really surprised I haven't seen more pictures of turning these into like a super duper travel kit, and you'll see why in a second. But then the front side, and you don't have to take the webbing up through the ladder lock. All you have to do is just loosen it and just pull the webbing off to the side. and then it'll open up, right? And then this is what I'm saying. You know, if you turn this into a travel kit, you know, this would just be hanging up on the door to your bathroom. And then the normal, and I should have had actually my G3 out, but the normal G3 is a large pocket, the two smaller pockets, and a large pocket. So what we did here, as you can see, is, and I've got pictures from Alex Messenger Photography. I'll get those on the website. Again, I'm debating if I put this on the website as an option, you know, after Christmas, or just do it tonight, or wait until next year. So just stay tuned on that. But you can see we replaced the other large pocket with a big clear vinyl panel, right? And then I just threw a map sheet in there. Matter of fact, Clint, who does Nemesis Camo, a former SF guy, he would love what's on this map sheet. I kept it. This is from when I was in the training team for 20th Group, and they had us run a STAR course. And my course was 36.5 kilometers is how many I did in my land navigation train up course for those guys. But it's the standard G3, right? So this is a big ass pocket, easily, you know, 7x7, 7x10, still nylon tarps. I still have to do the video. I've got mine rolled up in there, S-rolled, and tied off, so I can just like pull that, run it around a tree, figure 9 it, walk to the next tree. The whole tarp deploys behind me, ridge line already established, tied off to a tree, walk around just and stake it down. Then you got these other two pockets, which we've kept in here because, you know, if you're going to use this for hunting or search and rescue, you're probably going to have some other type of comms or some other device that you might want to have in here. So just for the sake of this video, I just put a Garmin. You notice the pockets are a little bit different. I put a Garmin in there, and I did that intentionally. So, because, you know, you could still be walking and that Garmin could just be keeping track. The antenna's not covered up, right? And then this is a 60CX. I think this is this is a 60C Charlie Sierra X-ray. So if you're curious about the size, that's what we got here. So that's a pretty damn good size Garmin. That fits in the, you know, so items like that and smaller will fit in the larger of the two pockets. And then of the smaller two pockets, just, you know, an Altoids 10, you know, just with, this has got a fire starter in it, but that just gives you a sense of what fits in that pocket. And then Paul's going to give you his loadout here, and you'll see all he's got for ham radio. And then again, this separates. And then now you could put, you know, a map sheet in there. You could put a checklist, you know, depends, you know, you do you, whatever, however you're going to use it, whatever you're using it for, that gives you an option. And this material, it's made in America. It's a 20 gauge clear vinyl. I can't remember what the cold rating is. I think it's to 20 below. But, you know, it is a clear vinyl, right? It's a plastic material. So you can write on it and you can put items in here. And that's going to come up in a little bit later in the video. We're also going to talk about how to clean it and some, you know, do's and don'ts, some things to avoid, because it kind of just came up tonight with Paul's. And then, you know, with it like that, it doesn't really, so I don't have anything in the pockets really, but you can see it actually kind of folds a little bit better, I think, because that whole vinyl gives rigidity to the backside, and it really makes that triangular shape. You can still shove a jacket or a tarp in there if that's what you wanted to do. But yeah, I really like it. So, but again, you guys leave comments, you know, whether you're watching on demand or watching live with us now, tell me what you guys think. Yeah, and then I guess I'll just go from there, whether I put it on the website, you know, now or before the end of the year, or if we just do it at the beginning of next year. I'm going to turn it over to you, but first, let me just read some comments. Sure. I like to stay up in the comments. Yeah. Here we go. Right here. We left off with John. Oh, my. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. All right. Thank you, John. Hey, Mackenzie's in the house. Hey, Mackenzie, how you doing, man? So his comment, got mine with me on my travels to Ontario to visit fam for Christmas. It's my electronics travel kit. Mm-hmm. And that's actually how one of mine is set up too, for the same type of thing. You know, my power bank, my spare cables, all that kind of stuff. So that's a good way to do it right there. So now whether you want to get rid of one of the pockets and have, you know, what Paul's going to show you how he's got it set up, or whether it's a map sheet or a cheat sheet of some kind, you know, depending on what you're doing. So, you know, you do you, 6 1/2 dozen the other. John, not even into radios, but I want one. Hey, my good man, I know somebody who could make those. I know somebody who could make one for you. The accessorizer. Mackenzie, folding keyboard, batteries, cables, hard drives, etc. Exactly. And it's just a great organizational travel companion for that. And I personally really like it. The G, we started with the G1. I made that for myself when I was field dressing a deer. I think this was my second year after leaving the agency. Bow hunting, it's all mud, because like at this time of year, you're still out hunting. It was mud and snow, and I'd set down my skinning knife, and stupidly, I didn't have an orange handled knife, and I'm looking around for it, probably like a $200 knife, and I'm like, gosh, finally found it. And I'm said, that's never happening again. So I made the very first gear roll with just the big pocket, because that's where I had my gloves and the skinning kit and all that kind of stuff, and then the rest was just a molly, so you could lay out your knives and whatever else you wanted. Then it evolved into the G2. People were like, "Hey, I want more pockets." Totally understandable. Then we made the G3, which is just a little bit larger, and we moved the pocket configuration around a little bit because I think it folds really nicely the G3 way. And then that's how we kind of came up to that. But Mackenzie, sir, you kind of just got me thinking. But that's what it was. The moment we made the G2, which is, again, almost the same as the G3, just different. That's what it became for me. All of my hard drives, my thumb drive, my hard drive, my power bank, and that became my traveling case. And then we got Gene, great outlay of pouches and map cover, great for search and rescue, hiking, etc. Yep, you're hitting it, Gene. Okay. So on that note, here's where it's going to maybe be just a little different. So we had to move things around to get both of us in here. We'll see how this goes. But as Paul's showing off what he's got for his loadout, I might go around and be behind the camera and manipulate the camera and zoom in a little bit. We'll just see how well you handle the pressure. So why don't you show everybody your G3 and what your logic or your thought was? Now, again, ham radio, not just an enthusiast. What is your ham radio? What are you like?
3 levels.
Yeah, what level?
There's technician, there's general, and there's amateur extra. I am amateur extra. That's the top level.
So you're extra
of licensing.
So you're extra.
I'm a little extra.
He's really extra special.
That's right.
All right, so you're at the top level of the ham radio.
License. At least in terms of the information, the testing and stuff. Right on. Here is my G3. The ham roll.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too, right there. I've been calling it the Hammie, but I think ham roll's better.
I think ham roll's better too.
Yeah, ham roll. And
the audience could.
Yeah, you guys chime in the chat or on demand, because I'm not stuck on calling it the Hammie. I think we might just call it the ham roll, you know? And then that's kind of funny too. Like, like an egg roll, ham roll. What does that even mean?
Yep.
Like you were saying, make pictures. Like, here's the picture of his ham roll and have some fake sauce, dipping sauce on it or something.
A little parsley on the very top. Yeah. So shall I?
Yeah. Okay. And let's see how that goes. Because again, I might switch. Honestly, here, I'll just do this real quickly. Learn Me Something said likes the ham roll already. Okay. So that's where we left off. I'm going to go over there and see if I can do this a little better for you.
All right. I'll do the great unveiling.
Well, and if you want, just move my chair and just move into the center of the screen.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, although the microphone might be a little weird.
Yeah, if we need to.
Okay, is this okay?
Yep, that should be good.
All right. So, as Mark mentioned, you got the big pocket.
And I got you right now.
Oh, good.
Yep, there we go.
There we go.
Yep,
so you got your big pocket, you got your little pocket, you got your little pocket, and then you got this. So, in the ham world, as well as in other situations, like somebody mentioned, writing and record keeping and all that is essential. So we got this, but let's unpack first.
Well, honestly, right there. Okay. So there, people can see that. Yeah. You got a little extra, and then you got the vinyl material. I'm just going to kind of bring it right here. Just come back into camera for a second.
Yep.
So before we go too far, one thing I wanted to mention is cleaning this material, right? So it's plastic, it's a vinyl, right? And it's a really robust 20 gauge. It's good. But, and there's a gentleman out there, I'm not throwing him under the bus. He reached out to me. It's the same vinyl that we use on our everyday organizer. And this is a couple years ago, and he reached out to me. He's like, I'm an idiot. I totally did something stupid I shouldn't have done trying to clean the plastic. So don't use caustic materials like bug juice. Like that's what he said he did. He used bug juice because, there's alcohol in that. So the thought process was kind of okay, but the application not so good. Because what did you say?
I said that removes the plastic from the ink.
Yeah, that
instead of the ink from the plastic.
Yeah, instead of the ink from the plastic, it removed the plastic from the ink. So don't use those type of materials. Start off with warm water and soap. So show yeah.
Yeah, I had this in there for a while. This is a band plan for ham radio.
There you go. Yeah,
it's a band plan for ham radio. Thing that could be very handy depending on what you're doing. And I had that right under the cover, and it was just sitting there for a while.
And so
I have no clue.
Yep. So these, this type of material, it's normal. This stuff is going to bleed. It just think about it. If you've ever put, colored paper or whatever in some type of plastic or whatever, that eventually bleeds. Even like your driver's license, if you've got it in like a little ID display thing, that'll eventually get on there. So, when Paul came over here and we were setting up, he was saying, oh, look, I've got this crap on here. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So just from a cleaning perspective, look at whatever device you're using to write with first. I mean, don't use a Sharpie marker. You do you if you want to, but that's indelible ink, right? So, think dry erase markers, think grease pencils or alcohol pens. But for every one of those things, have the cleaning solution that works. Or if you don't, start at the lowest level, like with just soap and water. So we started with soap and water. It was working, but he wasn't having a huge success. And then, so just one of those little stupid life hacks. So, I just took a dry erase marker, a chisel tip, and just reached in here. And then where there was some of that, where some of that color had bled over, I just took the dry erase marker and just dry erased it until, I covered up that whole thing. And then with a paper towel, then you just, wiped it clean. So, so it brought the color back to life just, with the dry erase ink or marker ink, and that wet it down. And then it all kind of became soluble. And then I was able to just clean it out. So just be smart. Don't use bug juice to clean that material off. Think about what you're writing with and how to clean that off. Okay. Now I'll go.
Yeah. Okay. So, learning how to work with these things. So I was thinking little things in little pockets, big things in the big pocket. But then I realized, no, little pockets should be for things you want to grab quickly.
Move forward.
There we go.
You can just move my chair.
Okay. There we go. All right. So I'll just start opening up the big pocket. I don't know if you can see it, if I should hold it up. What do you say?
I'm zooming down a little bit. So
okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
We got it.
So in the big pocket, well, the thing that it's all about is my radio. There it is. So that's what I keep in that pocket to start with. That, and everything revolves around this, of course. Now, I support certain events, like I did the marathon. So,
and by marathon, he's talking Grandma's Marathon.
Grandma's Marathon, also did the inline skate marathon. And so basically,
John Bear Grease?
I did, and I'll be doing it again this January.
Yep.
So basically, we keep records of when people cross our checkpoints and all that. So it's a VHF radio, short for distance. And then I got a little snack.
You're moving way too fast.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Down here.
Stay in one zone. Yeah.
Got a little snack, because why not? I got some esoteric supplies in here. I will get to them as I go along. Let's see what else I got in here. Okay, this is the charger for the radio. The charger's off of I'll call it a cigarette sock. What do you call it?
Cigarette
lighter.
Yeah.
Cigarette lighter. Okay. And I got a little holder where I could snap my radio onto this, put it on my belt. I got, what else in here? A marker, so I can mark on the plastic.
Well, or you could use it to clean out the
or to clean off the other stuff.
the other
This
stuff,
is a dry erase. You can use other types too, like wax. Wax, I believe you said is good. I got a book, because when you're out in the field, I program this radio on my computer. It's just easier. But the thing is, if you're out in the field working and something happens, you have to go to a different repeater, a different frequency, whatever. You want to lock it in, or how to use your radio. It's good to have a book. So I've got this little cheat sheet. It's much easier to work with. Okay. And this, what the heck is this thing? Well, this is the standard connector for ham radio. It's called a power pole. And you can't plug it in the wrong way. It always goes the right way. And ham radio works off of 12 volts. Basically, that's a standard. So you can hook these up all kinds of different ways. If you have a portable battery with a power pole, you could plug this into the power pole. Then you can plug the radio charger into that. It's kind of a goofy, multi-step way to do it. I also have a cable I haven't hooked up yet that I can plug this right into the power pole system. But that gives flexibility. Let's see, what else did I have? Some candy bar, charger. Now let's get to the little pockets. Got a backup battery right here. I also got these two fun things. This will convert a cigarette lighter, car 12-volt accessory port into a power pole, which is handy. And this will convert a car power port, cigarette charger, into a USB charger. But hey, you can take your portable battery, plug that in there, and now you got on the go away from your car, you got USB charger. So
that is pretty slick.
Yeah.
Hey, just do that one more time. So again,
Yeah.
He's taking his extra radio battery.
Yeah, which isn't here, but here's the battery. Imagine the battery with this type of connector on it. You pop that into there, and then here's your cigarette lighter, charger, whatever. Pop that in. Now you got USB A and USB C charging. So that is a handy thing. And this will allow you to have the charger going at the same time, and you can have other things going on as well. So that's kind of nice. You can branch out your power. So in the final pocket, I figured that should be easy to reach. I used to have it stuffed in the bottom of this big pocket, but that I realized was silly. This is a little clip microphone. Microphone speaker. So you just clip it to your shirt, and you got your radio on your side, and you can just talk. And if you want to go another route, you can have the little earpiece right here, and it just goes in the earpiece, and there's a little mic on. You can squeeze to talk. That is the comms part of that. And then this vinyl part. Well, in the bear grease, you got to keep track of all the crossings or when they come through each dog sled team. It's the longest dog sled race in the continental United States. It happens near the end of January. So that's what that is. So you can put that underneath here and just write on top of it, or you can just write notes, or you may have a sheet that has all the frequencies and channels and protocols for whatever event or thing you're doing. So,
hey, what was the sheet that you had in there that caused all the drama?
Oh, this.
Yeah.
So this is you had to fold it up a little. This is the band plans for amateur radio. So, for events with VHF, you don't use this. But if you're doing a thing called Parks on the Air, or just doing general, like long distance HF ham radio, there are certain bands and frequencies that you're allowed to operate in, and this is a reminder sheet of where you can communicate.
Because you don't want to get in trouble with that FAA.
Oh no, or FTC,
or
even.
FTC, yeah,
or either,
yeah.
or yeah, and
or
just,
the FDA. You don't want to get in trouble.
Oh.
You did have a candy bar.
Yeah, well, we'll call it a candy bar, right? It's a candy bar, but yeah. So Parks on the Air, I would configure this differently, because you're having different equipment. But this is kind of an important thing. Like, who'd memorize this? Unless you do it a lot, you would.
Yeah. But all of that fitting into that, the pocket down there, and then that ability. So that's what I really liked how you had it, kind of set up is, and in this sense, you're kind of holding it, and for everybody, go back. I mean, I know we're kind of just struggling with the space we have right now, but I mean, that was kind of a clown car. I mean, shit
Yeah.
just kept coming out of the pocket. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so for just that, for like, if you're a ham radio enthusiast, or again, you know, like however you want to tailor or streamline it, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. And there's even a couple other things I wish I had in here, which I'll put in later. So other adapters, etc.
Okay. Anything else to add to that? Otherwise, I'm going to zoom out and come back.
I think that's it for the first round. Yeah, unless people have questions or whatever. This is a handy item for me.
So, Jiminy Christmas, getting crazy, both folks.
Let's slide this on.
All right, should be good. All right, we'll come back over on that side.
Move my radio.
Oh, my aching body.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the
All
big
right,
chair.
let's see. Let's see if we have any questions here, and then we'll kind of get into it. Okay, so we did. I think this is where we left off. Yeah, ham roll. There's a vote for ham roll. Here's another vote. Ham roll is the only choice. Well, I think when Gene weighs in, and I think that's it right there. Then, now here we've got AVV, Angry Viking Veteran. Good to see you over here, my good man. And then cigarette ash. So if you just rub it in on the plastic sheet for your information. So that is kind of an old school, you know, and look, I don't know how many people really are around map sheets, you know, and laminating and plastics, you know, that, you know, but, you know, like AVV, I'm not throwing him under the bus, but I know he's an, you know, a old school veteran, but that little ash trick too. I mean, like that was just, you know, cause everybody was smoking back then, you know, and that it's ash. I mean, it's just kind of like a charcoal based, you know, whatever. But that can clean off, and the same with your map sheets too, if you've got a laminated map sheet. So thank you for bringing that up, AVV. Then we've got John asking if the vinyl has Velcro across the top like the Edo. The answer is yes. It's not a full piece. It's just one small piece.
Sparkle into my sweater there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so here.
This
Just
long.
now, just hold that up right there.
Right there. It's about that long.
That was well done, sir.
Thank you. About that long.
It's about that long, you know, and can even
It's-
see what you're doing.
It's
but,
right here.
Yeah.
So
But it's across the top.
that's all I need.
Yeah, and it's just there to keep it so those items. Now, look, just like anything, you know, we're making it handmade. If you wanted Velcro across the whole top, we could easily do that. We just don't do it to keep, because it's really, you know, again, I'm not thinking you're putting like, and maybe if you're putting pens in there, you just want to make sure that they're on the perpendicular, you know, so they don't roll out if they, you know, or did I just say that backwards? You know, but you know what I'm saying? If there's just a piece of Velcro across the top, you'd want the pen in there so it doesn't roll out, you know, as opposed to slide out. But if you wanted to, we could always add to it. Then we've got Andrew, or did you want to add to that?
I just keep large flat things in here.
Yeah.
So far, you know, as I use this more and more, I will discover new uses and all that.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, I can't speak for him, but I bet he was thinking about putting his dry erase markers or his pens in there where, you know, which would kind of make sense, but I probably would put him in the larger of the small pocket.
Yep.
And just have you know, that's the small pocket. Or there you go.
There you go. Yeah, it's in there great.
Yeah. So because pens fit in the larger of the small pocket. That's how I would do it and make that my pen pocket. Andrew Stuff from over on Rumble. Nice to see that we're getting comments over on Rumble. Thank you, Andrew. I'm late to the show, but you're here, so we appreciate it. Learn me something. So this is probably a question for you, Paul. How involved and or difficult is it to get involved with radio communication? I think what he's probably just saying, how difficult or how much do you have to commit yourself to actually then get into ham radio?
Ham radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here, let me put that back over there.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you basically, the short answer is you have to pass a test. And you can get those from your local radio. Well, first you usually take a class or else you study from a book such as this one, ARRL, it's Amateur Radio Relay League. They're the biggies in the field. They're kind of the official. And I studied a couple weeks out of the book, took the test, and I passed. Another way to do it is take a class. And there are classes online by various radio clubs. There's even YouTube videos on it. And for me, if you I take a class, it's about $15, $10. It's not expensive. Taking the test, they charge $15. And recently, FCC decided they needed more money. It used to be free, but now it's $35 to actually get your license.
Are you serious?
Not serious.
Fucking
They
government.
did that a couple years ago.
So, Doge, get rid of that too, man. Jesus, crime, just tax. Oh
Yeah.
no, this isn't a tax. It's just a fee
It's a
for
fee.
us to, because it costs us money to make you your license. Why do I need your fucking license then? You know, to keep it. I don't need your bullshit license, and you don't need my $30 to keep somebody employed who just sits there and hits a keystroke to print out your freaking license.
Yeah. A convenience fee, perhaps.
Yeah, convenience
fee for them.
So, hey, but
Yeah, it's not too bad.
yeah, not too bad. So even the class is not expensive. You know, whether if you do the online class, you don't have to do that. You can get the books.
Yeah.
How much was that book? Do you remember? I think you told me
30 some,
Yeah,
I
you
think.
said like 30
And that's one of several. That's the one I went with, the one I like. There's others. There's Adam West or something like that. Look around. But go to ARRL.org. I believe that's Alpha Romeo Lima.org. And that will get you started.
I'm trying to pull it up right now, and if it comes up, I'll share the tab so you can see it.
Yeah. There's even
Yeah,
videos
there
out.
it is right there.
There's
Yeah.
even videos out there on this very topic
Yeah. Okay.
about
So
how to
here-
get involved.
So real quickly, and then we'll kind of move on from
Yep.
that. Let me share that and come back over here so I can see us. I'll go to full screen mode. There you go. That's the website Paul was just referencing right there. It's Alpha Romeo Lima.org. And there you can kind of see, you know, it's obviously geared towards that.
Yep.
I don't see them advertising the ham roll though. What's up, AARRL? Get that ham roll on there, man.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with you people? Okay, now kind of going on, and then the other question, then Paul, on that is the equipment super expensive?
Oh, it can be, and it can be cheap. This is a fancy radio. It's about $500. You can get a simple one of this brand for probably a little over $60, or you can get the Chinese stuff for like $30. But
yeah, don't say that around me.
No,
He knows that I'm like no bueno on the Chinese.
It's
stuff.
not only the Chinese, is that it's crapalicious. So,
Yeah.
but people get it because it's cheap. I'm against it, but that's just me.
And you hear people saying it, and we're not even going to mention the name of the company, but you hear people talking about it all the time, and they talk about it because they say it's cheap. And the argument is it's cheap, and then therefore, if shit hits the fan, you've got a radio and you don't need the license. Well, you know, A, you need the radio to work, and B, you need to understand how the radio works and how a radio wave propagation and all those other things. So all I'm saying is, because I'm getting off my ass. I'm getting my, I'll start off in obviously the beginning level. I'll do that this winter. And, and when I am able to pull the trigger on whether it's a base station or a handheld, I ain't buying that cheap ass thing, because if I need it, I want it to be reliable. So, I mean, again, you do you. You want to buy cheap ass made in China stuff. And who's to say they don't plant some type of, and I mean this very serious, some malicious, malware in there. And if the shit hits the fan that they're involved with, then they shut down and your radio doesn't work.
Yeah,
or craps the bed or
like
whatever.
Those home routers. We can think about TP-Link right now.
Well, and you want to just explain that real quick?
I know very little, but apparently, from what I understand, TP-Link is a Chinese company, and they are semi-dominating the home ISP market. When you sign up for internet service, that's the box that the ISP provides you. And apparently, looks like some Chinese actors, are been hacking into that and doing all kinds of unfun stuff.
Yeah, nefarious.
Nefarious is the word of the day.
That's the word of the day. Nefarious.
Yes.
All right, moving on with some more comments here, though. Andrew's talking about GMRS is a good option for those that just want to get it, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yes.
Who want simple walkie-talkie systems and with more features in the cheap Walmart specials. And so that's what I was I'm glad you brought that up there, Andrew, because I knew we were going to talk about it, because that is another just because we've even talked about that before. Because last year I was going to do the try to take the course, but just no excuses, but just life and shit happens.
Yeah.
But then we were like, well, hey, why not just CBs? Why not GMRS? Why not just even like the Motorola push to talks? Have great range and great and a lot of those actually have it's not great encryption, but for the most part, I mean,
For what the
handheld, like the push to talks from like Motorola.
Oh yeah,
they still have an encryption. You can set that up, so
it's not much of an encryption, but it just keeps you from sliding into other people on the air. And GRMS is great because it's all channelized. This is not channelized. They give you a lot of room to do a lot of stuff, and that's why you kind of really great to have the license so you know how to use this.
Yeah, just do that one more time. So the GMRS, the handhelds, right?
Yeah,
it's good, but it's you're limited in the I'll just call it in your options, right?
Yeah,
if I call it frequencies, right? You're going to be operating in a much more confined band of channels, even like on a CB radio, like 1 to 24. I'm just making that up, right? But that's it. Whereas an actual radio, you're full spectrum.
There are no channels. This goes, I think, 144 to 148 megahertz. And then there's a UHF, which goes some other range. I can't remember at the moment. So,
well, ultra high, probably.
Oh, yeah.
That range would, no, I'm just making a joke about UHF versus.
Oh, yeah. In fact, let me consult my chart.
Yeah, get your damn chart out. That's why.
Okay. 70 centimeter. That's UHF. It's 420 to 450 megahertz. So,
and somebody right now is saying, what the fudge are you guys talking about? And look, it can be daunting, but it really isn't. I mean, once you get into it, and if you get a study guide, or if you've been around radios, like Angry Viking Veteran or the Accessorizer, if you're around military radios, you've got like a good start, and you can pick up, okay, hang on a second, megahertz, UHF, VHF. What am I really looking at doing? Don't let it be overwhelming, right? I guess what I'm saying. Here we had Andrew saying, commo roll, as not everyone will be a ham user.
True as well.
What you want to?
It could be a ham roll. It could be a commo roll. There's something about having a more open name for it.
Commo roll, though. I don't. Ham just makes me like ham. Like, what does Homer Simpson say? Lisa's like saying, like, stop eating. He goes, what? No ham. No pork, no bacon. She's like, Dad, those are all the same animal. And he's like, yeah, right, Lisa. A wonderful mystical animal. So ham makes me think of Homer Simpson, though. So
it does.
I kind of like that as opposed to commo.
Yeah. It's a more fun name.
Yeah.
To call it ham.
Yeah,
that is true.
All right. Okay. Now here's another question for you coming in. Yeah. John wants to know, what's the range on the ham radio? See, this is a great question.
Okay.
What's the range? Well, first let's start off with, what does ham stand for, besides a delectable, delicious, mystical animal? But what does ham stand for, and what is the range? Because I think you're going to be very surprised on what this answer is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want the funny answer or the normal answer?
We'll start with ham radio, and you.
Okay. Ham radio.
You do
ham radio.
If you want to get crazy. Yeah. Okay. Like, it's not PG-13. So,
no. Ham radio is, from what I believe and what I've found, is originally it was a bit of a derogatory term. This was back in the early days, of course, when there was telegraph operators. That was the modes of communication. And then amateur radio operators, which is the real name of the deal, amateur radio, they were doing Morse code. And the story goes, the telegraph operators would listen and say, oh, God, those people are horrible. They're so ham-fisted doing the Morse code. And so I think they just...
Amateur radio, ham-fisted, amateur ham.
Yeah. So they just said, okay, we're hams.
Yeah.
We'll run with that.
And if there's a different story, I don't care, because that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a real story.
Yeah, like, so people started getting out, being independent. They're doing, Morse code, doing their own thing. And then the powers to be didn't like it. And they said, oh, those guys... Yeah, listen to that guy. He only does 5 words a minute or whatever,
His code is sloppy.
He's so sloppy. He's like such a ham-fisted thing.
Yeah.
Andrews is chiming in from over on Rumble. I'm gonna move past
range.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
So the range on this, oh my gosh. It's farther than GMRS. This runs 5 watts. GMRS might have about the same range. One thing about this is there are things called repeaters. So up on the hilltop, there'll be a big antenna, big ass antenna, and with a big transmitter on it. And if it with super sensitive reception can pick up your handheld, it will broadcast that signal maybe 100 watts or more, 200 watts, whatever. And you can hit probably easily a 40-mile radius with that signal. So that gives you superpowers in a sense.
But if you know what you're doing, and if you know antennas and radio wave promulgation, I mean, under the right conditions, you can even bounce things off of the atmosphere.
That is not this. That's the HF. That's the lower frequency radios that are.
That's what is that? Just UHF?
This is VHF, UHF.
Okay.
And of those two, VHF is by far the most commonly used frequency range.
So for what I'm talking about, the HF, the high frequency, that's what you're going to see with your home unit, right?
A home unit, yes.
Okay,
Or you get portable units, and
that's what I was just simply was going to get at. Is you'll be surprised. I mean, you literally can have conversations with people around the world.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of cool to have happen. I keep on hitting Italy for some reason. I don't know why. I've talked to Italy and South America and other places. So it's fun. It's
your Italian impersonation was horrible.
I know.
That was
I'm Norwegian. What do you expect?
Yeah, that was not good. Okay, here we go. We've got some more comments. Andrew's saying Brush Beater / North Carolina Scout has great content out there about radio commo operations. Andrew, if you don't mind just adding to that, is this a Instagram or a ScrewTube account? Like, where are we finding this guy? Is that YouTube? I'm willing to bet that's probably a YouTube guy, but that's kind of cool that that's out there. And thanks for sharing that. And then he's saying the permission slip from the FCC is just a cover for action. Yeah, it is. Well, okay. Well, we got it. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are throwing in some good comments, and I'm kind of falling behind. Let me just try to get caught up. And then John's asking, can you encrypt those? Can they be encrypted?
No. There's two things about ham radio that are limitations. One is you cannot encrypt things. You can encode them, but if you encode them, you need to have public the way to decode it. So sometimes encoding is actually like a digital mode. You can send digital communication, but you have to have that available somewhere so that you can't do secret stuff over ham radio is what I'm saying. Another thing you can't do is commercial communication. You can't dispatch a driver somewhere over it or sell something over it for the most part.
Yeah. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't you, if you put it in that one mode, couldn't you actually be running your laptop and sending an encrypted text message or email over via the ham radio? Even that?
It cannot be encrypted.
Okay. I did not know that part.
And that's why often they don't do straight internet over ham radio, which is possible because you'll go to a website and it'll have HTTP secure. That's encrypted. And now you're in violation.
But the other kind of point right there is the cool thing about ham radio. You could actually use ham radio and you can send emails and receive emails.
Yes. I have a friend who is in the depths of the wilderness in Alaska, and he could send an email.
Yeah. So pretty cool capabilities once you start getting into it. And then kind of going back to one of the other questions and comments, and nothing's cheap, and at that point in time, you're making an investment, but it's an investment that I think it's worth the money, because if you live in a remote area, or if you travel in remote areas, or if you think, shit could break bad, well, keeping as many forms of communication possible, and we've talked about this, and, so, it just makes a lot of sense. Again, think about your primary, alternate, contingency, emergency, your pace plan if you want to in your combo. So
yeah. And another point too, HF equipment is more expensive. I got $1,000 radio, but you can go a lot cheaper than that. And another thing to do is look for ham radio ham fests. It's basically a big flea market trade session, and you can get really good used deals.
I don't think they should call them ham fests. I think they should change it to ham roasts. Like a ham roast. Let's have a ham roast.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of already liking it. And the next comment is by Andrew saying, he's kind of admitting that the commo roll isn't as good as the ham roll.
No,
so he's saying it's not the best name. He makes it.
Although practical,
Yeah, you got to make it simple.
It doesn't have that.
Yeah, punch. It doesn't have that punch. Range is dependent on frequency, wattage, and antenna build and attenuation. Right?
Yes.
You want to give Andrew a little shout out there and
shout out in the antenna. Don't neglect your antenna. That really can make a difference.
Yeah, big time. Right.
And also, if you have a crappy antenna and a super strong transmitter, they'll hear you, but you won't be able to hear them. Another reason antennas are important.
Yeah. John is saying that you're hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, he thinks you're hilarious. And then my HT has 10 watts and can use repeaters too. Andrew, so it sounds like we got another ham radio kind of guy on here. Maybe Andrew's flirting with you a little bit right now.
KF0GEX right here.
Say it one more time.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Golf Echo X-ray. KF0GEX.
I noticed though when I'm hanging out with Paul and that's on. Honestly, maybe it is ham because they're ham-fisted because they all are just slackers. I'm like, no, dude, what are you Kilo Foxtrot X-ray? Why aren't you guys saying that? This is HAMM, whatever, and then they just blurt it. So I'm like, how come you guys aren't being professional here? Hotel Alpha,
we know each other in the little. You have a little community when you have a transmitter, a repeater sometimes. So.
They are kind of like geeks on it though. It's funny. And then here we got, okay, I'm going to cut and paste this. Hopefully you're not giving me some malicious website to go to. I'll cut and paste this and I'll pull it up here in a second. If it lets me do it, why won't it let me do it? Why can't I? Well, okay, maybe I won't. You guys can see it. I don't know why it's not letting me cut and paste. Come on now. Software's just giving me a hard time. Well, there it is right there. So, it's over on Rumble. You don't have to have a Rumble account to be able to probably access this. So, Andrew, I'll try to pull that up. It's not letting me cut and paste it for some stupid reason. Now, Gene, and then this is kind of a comment. He's sharing some of his experience. He's bounced signals from the UK to US and Italy with no issues on USB on a CB radio back in the 80s. Base station, 40-foot pole. And good weather at night got those. So,
now, that's interesting because I remember back in the late 70s, I believe, the CB craze, that was a solar peak. That happens solar maximum happens every 11 years. Well, we're in the middle of a peak right now. And so 10 meters is if you get the intro license, the technician's license, the general license, the step above, is the one that really opens up the HF bands for you for access. But you get 10 meter, you get part of the 10 meter band with the technician license. And the conditions right now, you can talk around the world on that thing. So it's a great time to jump in.
Yeah.
And yes, and I tuned in the 11 meters right next to it. So those CB signals are bouncing all over the place. I tuned my ham radio to the 11 meters, which is CB, and I'm hearing everywhere.
What do you think those do you think they really use CBs that much? Like, the big rig guys? Remember,
I don't know.
We got a job that they say can't be done. Yeah. We got a long way to go. We had a short time to get there. Again, because that was smoking the Bandit.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was on CBs. That's when you saw Munson truck, you did this, and the guy would, honk the horn for you and shit.
I had listened to CB since the back in the 80s, and it's a wild west out there. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of noise and not much information. But I have a friend who's a ham radio guy, and he said when shit hits the fan or something's going on, he's not going to turn into this ham radio first. He's going to turn into the CB radio first, because he says truckers kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
Must be on the road. So.
Well, and I bet, and just again, and they're traveling. So, they were just yesterday they were in North Carolina. Today they're in, Oklahoma type of shit, and they're, spreading that news, kind of like the Pony Express. Mm-hmm. Andrew's coming back and saying, so that gentleman he's referencing is on X. Then he's kind of like, legally you can't encrypt, legally.
Yes.
Yeah. So just, hey, you do you, boys and girls. We're not saying anything one way or the other here. Here we go. brushbeater.org. I'll try to get that in a second. So while we're doing it, and then I think there's here we go. Gene with a good comment. A collection of radio sellers and buyers is a ham meat. Ham meat.
Ham meat.
Ham meat.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was funnier when I read it. Now
Yeah.
that I say, like, no, but it is, it's a ham meat, ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ham meat.
Ham meat.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Andrew is
Almost
not,
done.
it's with the asterisk, not a licensed user. Roger Dodger. Gotcha. And then John, I had a CB in my first car, 1980 Datsun 280ZX. Dude, what a great old car, by the way. I thought I was so cool. Was it because of the radio or the 280Z, man? You know, both
The car to
classics.
get around, the radio to collect the chicks.
Yeah, that's right.
Or is it the other way? I
No,
don't
it was probably that. It was probably the car just got you there, but it was the radio
Yes.
that brought in the girls. You
That's
know?
right.
It wasn't the Datsun
No.
280Z. No, it was not that at all. All right. What do we got? Any more comments, questions? You want to add, jump in? I mean, not a bad spot. I mean, wrap it up. We're at 50 minutes.
I think I'm good. I'll think of something as soon as we finish this.
that's
Yeah,
what'll
that's how
probably
it
happen.
goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just give it a quick second. See
Yeah.
if anybody wants to respond. If John wants to show us a picture of that 1980 280Z Datsun. I know what I can do real quickly here. Well, I'll just do this. Just give me a quick second. Gosh, man, Andrew, I hope you're not fucking with me. And this goes into, just the name. I'm like,
that
dude,
which can be seen cannot be unseen.
yeah, I hope. Yeah. Let me make sure I don't share this first. Okay. No. Okay. Gotcha. It's a real deal.
Yeah. If you mistype it, you might get the other one. I don't know.
Okay. Let me just come on back over here.
Oh, the
share
tiny
that.
essay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just share this.
I
here.
have that. I have that at home.
All right. Okay. Seriously, John, because it's like that whole whitehouse.gov.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Andrew. And way back in the day before, some of this stuff was cool, like handguns. And there we go. Yeah. There was a company I was doing business with that would do backstrap reduction. So on the grip of your handgun, it's usually got a little bit of a mound. I actually like that flat. So, there was this company that was doing backstrap reductions and beaver tail extensions. And, but the name of their company, I don't even want to say it. I don't know if they're in business anymore, but if you made one little mistake, this is definitely not suitable for work. You don't want to do it on a government computer. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, quick, delete, whatever. So, but here's what Andrew just shared with us. This is the brush beater. And here, I'll just kind of move up a little bit. Do you want to just maybe talk about that for a second?
I do own a tiny essay, and really it's technically it's a spectrum analyzer. And these things normally would have gone for $1,500 or way more. And somebody came up with this tiny essay, which is a couple $100 I think. And you can just say, show me all the activity between these two frequencies. And so I can certainly see that useful for drone detection, because you could see, if you know what range the control signals and the video signal is, you can just monitor that whole spectrum and see what pops up.
Hey, Andrew, and then everybody else watching, maybe we should share that with the United States government, because they can't seem to find their ass from a hole in the ground, let alone a bunch of fucking car-sized drones flying all over the country. So maybe they need some of that, as opposed to just what they do have is a good book of excuses.
Yeah.
That book has got to be like fucking a huge book.
Yeah.
Because they just got excuses after excuses.
But tiny essay hasn't gone through the $10,000 qualification process procedure. So.
There it is. There it is. All right. Here we got one last. Does Paul have a photo of his setup? I'm sure you do, but you don't have one. With
My
you.
home?
Yeah, your
My home setup? I do not.
Oh, you don't?
But I got to take a picture of it.
Hey, I'll convince him to take a picture, as long as there's not any sensitive information or drama. And then if you're willing to do it, and then just send it to me, and I'll just post it up on Instagram.
Yeah.
One of these days.
And mine is, it's not too impressive. It's pretty simple. I've not been into it that long, but I'll send the picture.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
get that to
so
you.
there, I'm here to
Actually,
tell you though, and I don't know if you've been in their houses, but there's clearly one or two guys around here who probably have like a no shit command center.
I have a neighbor. We call it the war room. It's great. He's got this huge like I don't know screen like opposite his desk. It's got other monitors. He has literally bounced signals off the moon. There's a EME you can do on ham radio, Earth, moon bounce. It's so many things you can do on ham radio, and he's done a lot.
Yeah, well, and isn't that the guy with like 4 different antennas,
Oh yeah,
like all that. So
yeah, he has an.
So you can really get into it.
You
So
can go
all the way
nuts.
back to learn me something. I think I think it was you who had asked, like, hey, is this expensive? Like, well, just like any
You can
thing,
think.
yeah, you can.
Yeah, it's like boats, it's like cars, it's like anything. You can watches. You can buy a $20 watch. You can, buy a
$10,000 watch.
Philippe Petit or whatever. Yeah. I mean, you can easily spend as much as you want. That's one of the things people say what ham stands for. Had a lot of money. So go as far as you want or as little as you want.
Rock and roll. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, and boys and girls, really appreciate everybody in the chat. I think ham roll is the winner. So now on the demand portion, if people watch it afterwards, give us a comment and weigh in. But right now, ham roll, I think that's what we're gonna call this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
This is mine in the awesome Nemesis camo, kick-ass camo that Clint over at Nemesis is making, and we're lucky to have gotten some of that stuff and made a Hammie, because I'm going to get off my ass and I'm getting a license this winter, and maybe I'll put my own little cheat sheet in here that rubs off and I've got to bitch and complain about stuff. So what else you got?
That's it for now.
Okay. Hey, tomorrow night. So again, we're on our new 1800. So from here going forward, 1800 Central Time, Central Standard Time, Doge. Just make it just no more Central or Standard.
No more liars time.
No more liars time, right? Just everything is. We don't even need to call it Standard Time because it just is.
Time is time.
Yeah.
Is the sun up above your head? It's noon, right?
Jeez. Yeah, right. Oh, hang on. Okay, we had a couple comments here. Andrew, real quickly at the end. The ham roll, pending name, might be a good addition for building that mobile commo kit. Thanks. Yeah, I think ham roll. I think that's going to be it. The ham roll. Mm-hmm. I think that's how it just works, and it goes in with roll, like the gear roll.
Yes.
So I didn't even think about that till right now. So, and then Gene is saying, "Stop feeding my Nemesis addiction." More, Gene, more. All right, thanks for being here. So again, tomorrow, CLS After Dark. It's going to be a fun episode. I don't know what you're doing. You might want to come over and hang out, because it's going to be me and Blackbeard, and we're going to talk about we're going to talk about UFOs, and maybe some other type of UFO related content, like perhaps like ancient alien, or ancient astronaut. But I think without a doubt, we're going to have to sit and talk about the drones over what's going on. So because the drones aren't necessarily UFO,
no,
but with our government just like totally being incompetent. So anyway, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some UFO stuff. So I'll talk to you, but that's what we're doing tomorrow, 1800 Central, normal, non-liars time, just 1800 Central time. Pour yourself an adult beverage. Our guest is going to be Blackbeard. Maybe we'll get Cousin Husband to make another entree, encore performance. And we're just going to have a fun conversation talking about UFOs. Obviously, we're going to have to talk about the drones. And then we'll just kind of see where the conversation goes. But we're not doing another 4-hour long, because this could easily turn into another 4-hour long episode. I'm too old for that. Like, Paul's already like, man, you look tired. I'm like, it's past my fucking bedtime. Like last time we did this for 4 hours and I had like 3 glasses of wine, it's like, man, I was done. So, but anyway, join us tomorrow, CLS After Dark, 1800. Thanks to Paul, AKA Cousin Husband, for coming over here. Final comments. We got AVV saying thanks to you.
Nope. It's been fun.
Yeah, he said he learned a little something. And Andrew, good on you. Andrew seems to be a good source of information. John is saying he's in love. I don't know if he's in love with you.
Well,
I mean, maybe.
I hope it's with the
maybe he's
ham roll.
The ham. Yeah, he's in love with the ham roll.
Good.
He's in love with the ham roll, right? Right, John?
Right.
The ham roll. And then, oops, it skipped. Gene and the lizard men. See, you know we're gonna have to talk about lizard people too.
Lizard people.
Lizard people. Yeah, with a big woo, and then learn me something with the thanks, gents. All right, boys and girls, we'll wrap it up right there. John, he's like saying no to you. He's not in love with you. You know, like, ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. No, he's not in love with you. I don't understand why. You've got like, that's a really sexy sweater you're wearing tonight.
You just love me for my ham roll.
He just loves you for your ham roll. That's it. All right, boys and girls, thanks for joining us tonight. Having fun. I hope you found it, entertaining. The G3, the ham roll version. Honestly, we're just trying to like crunch and just, get things done for Christmas. So I'll probably won't put it on the website until after Christmas. I know I'm lazy, give me a hard time, but I'll put it up after Christmas. We're just trying to focus, just kind of getting all the orders off the table as much as we can. I'll put it up on the website after Christmas. It'll just be, it'll be the normal G3, and then you'll just have an option called the ham roll. And I've already got the pictures, so I'll add those, over the next couple of days. But and then tomorrow night, CLS After Dark, talking about little green men. That'll be fun. With our good friend Steven, aka Blackbeard. Maybe cousin husband might join us, and that's about it. So we'll see you guys a little bit later. We'll see you tomorrow night is what we'll do. And on that note, you want to take us out? Do you know what my outro is? Woo! No, well, it's woo. That was embarrassing.
Hey, it was. I was half committal because I know there's more in front of it.
Hold it. So you're saying that woo wasn't, that was you were.
It was not fully committed.
Okay, all right. You can do a better woo. All right, I'll just let you do the woo. All right. Okay, you'll do the woo.
Keep thinking.
All right, Gene, pretend he didn't do that woo. I know that was incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah.
All right, you know the deal, boys and girls. Reach out anytime. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Until then, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good. Woo!
Oh, grainy.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Woo! All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, thanks, guys. See ya.